before we get started with today's topic, I want to give a shout out to my daughter-in-law, Sasha Palmer. So this is our oldest son's wife. They have a great family, and they have our oldest grandkids now, right? Teenagers. One's on a mission. But Sasha is a loan officer, and I'm going to look at some notes here. She's with West Ridge Financial, and I'm going to put the link for her in the comments section. I'll pin it. And if you now you have to be in the state of Utah, but if you're in any need of anything to do with mortgage, refinance, the reverse mortgage, that's popular among older people generally, but young people trying to get into a home for their first time, it can be crazy. We know all about it, how difficult it can be. And I'll tell you, Sash, I call her Sash. It's Sasha, not Sasha. Don't say Sasha. You'll get in trouble. It's like Sue, my wife. You don't say Susan, it's Suzanne. If you say Susan, it's like those are fighting words or a fighting word, right? But Sash is she's such a nice person, and she's so good at this. She's way nicer than I am. Of course, that's not saying much. But I'll put the link in. You have to be in the state of Utah. That's where she's licensed, certified. She has all the credentials to do this. And if you're in the need for that, I highly recommend her for anything to do with mortgage loans. Some people have a ton of equity in their home, and they want to take out some money, because that's really how we develop wealth. Most of us is in our home, real estate of some sort. And so some people might want to take some out to diversify. Instead of having all of it in a home, take some out to put it in something else, investing in other things. We're a little more optimistic now because of the election. We'll be talking a little bit more about that. But I will put her information, Sasha Palmer, and she's with West Ridge Financial. And if you're in Utah, or somebody, maybe you're not living in Utah, but you have grandkids that live in Utah, or siblings or something, and they're in need of this service, highly recommend Sasha Palmer at West Ridge Financial. And I'll put her information in. It'll be a link that you can just click on. It'll go to a web page. It'll have all her information, and really would like you to give her some of your business. If you're in that situation, you might as well go with somebody that's super good, and she is. All right, now I want to talk about some things today. I mean, we're still just going over this election. And remember when Trump was elected in 2016, how long it took him to get his cabinet and people that he wanted to work with in? Well, that's because he didn't really know, what the deal was. Well, now he knows. And is he just boom, 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 boom? One of the things I really find interesting is many of them, of the people that he is picking for different positions, are really pro-Israel. Now, I've said several times, I am not for us getting into any wars. I'm not. Whether it's Ukraine or whether it's Israel, I don't think we can do this kind of stuff as a country. We shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. But we can support, and we can be an ally in other ways. And we can sell and make money to our allies, not just donate and give, right? And so I think this is, I think it's such a blessing to have people that are pro-Israel, though, because I really think it's important for us to support Israel in so many ways. Personally, I have a sign out front that says, this home, we support Israel. And I really think God blesses those that bless Israel and curses those that doesn't curse Israel. And we're going to talk about blessing and curses here in just a second. Mostly curses, but the aspect of curses. But what I think is missing quite often in the LDS culture, the Mormon culture, is it's hard for us to pick a side, because we'll use the rationale of all of God's children deserve the gospel, which is absolutely true. But Section 29 of the Doctrine and Covenants, and ye are called to bring to pass the gathering of mine elect, for mine elect hear my voice and harden not their hearts. We're also supposed to, and I should have had this up already, but I can find it real quick. You think of particularly Judah, and what that entails to support Judah, and why we should be blessed, or why we will be blessed if we do. But this is in 2 Nephi 29, and because verse 3. And because my words shall hiss forth, many of the Gentiles shall say, a Bible. We've got a Bible, and there cannot be any more Bible. Now, we always, equate this with the Book of Mormon, which we should, but listen to the further verses here. But thus saith the Lord God, O fools, they shall have a Bible, and it shall proceed forth from the Jews, mine ancient covenant people. And what thank they the Jews for the Bible which they receive from them? In other words, do you give any thanks to the Jews for the Bible? Yea, what do the Gentiles mean? Do they remember the travails and the labors and the pains of the Jews, and their diligence unto me in bringing forth salvation unto the Gentiles? O ye Gentiles, have ye remembered the Jews, mine ancient covenant people? Nay, but you have cursed them, and have hated them, and have not sought to recover them. But behold, I will return all these things upon your own heads, for I, the Lord, have not forgotten my people. My people. Thou fool that shall say, a Bible, we've got a Bible, and we need no more Bible. Have ye obtained a Bible, save it were by the Jews? I mean, it goes on. It's awesome. But really, and there's so many other scriptures where God covenants and promises them the land of Israel. And if we support that, and if we're verbal about it, I really feel strong about this, that the Lord will bless our lives if we do that. If we do it as a nation, if we do it individually, and if we do it as a church. It's very clear who we should be supporting. We are to gather scattered Israel. Judah is part of scattered Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. So let's remember that, and let's be grateful that we have these people. Huckabee is the ambassador to Israel. I thought that was such a perfect choice. He loves Israel. He's a Zionist. Ooh, how horrible is that? He's a Zionist. The mainstream media idiots are quoting him as saying, "Oh, in 2010, he said that there's no such word or such a people as Palestinians, that doesn't really exist." Well, that's actually true. We can say there's a certain segment that are Palestinians, but I challenge you to go anywhere in the land of Israel and show us Palestinian ruins from anciently. There isn't any. It's just a made up term It comes from Philistines. It comes from Gaza, the Gaza area. And it was just a way to name people that did not like the Jews and did not like Israel. So let's do a little history research. Let's check into things and make sure we understand who the covenant people are. Now, granted, Many Jews do not believe in Christ. Many Jews do not. But we have this phrase or this term that we call the Judeo-Christian belief, tradition, and that's Judah, the Jews, and Christianity. It's the Bible, right? It's the Bible. And our country is based on Judeo-Christian beliefs. So look that up too, and see what we're all about. Our country has drifted away, and I feel like we're returning back for a period of time. We don't know how long this is going to last, but for a period of time, we are going to be on that path, that Judeo-Christian, where God has our back again. And as we support Israel and they support us, and we have this the Judah and Christian, and the United States is a Christian nation, and we have this Judeo-Christian belief and philosophy, we will naturally be united. Now, there are many Jews who are realizing that Jesus is the Christ. He is the Messiah. And that number continues to grow. And we continue to pray. But in the meantime, we can really develop an alliance with Israel as an individual and as a people. And my hope is that we would do it as a church. I think the church would receive huge blessings if we were more vocal about our support for Israel. We say, gather scattered Israel, and then everyone goes, oh, well, that doesn't really mean, Israel. Those are corrupt people. No. Don't even go there. That land is part of the Abrahamic covenant. Remember, it went through Abraham and then Isaac and then Jacob, okay? And who had the 12 sons, one of them being Judah and the southern kingdom. But here, Nephi is helping us realize that in the latter days, it's Judah, it's the Jews that kind of encompass everything. Because we know that the Bible didn't just come from Jews, but in a general sense, that's what Nephi's saying. He's just kind of the umbrella term. Like the northern kingdom would be the tribe of Ephraim. The southern kingdom would be the tribe of Judah. And that was the last surviving kingdom, was Judah. So that, therefore, it all kind of comes out of that. But anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Now, before I get into the curses, in fact, I gotta get back and find. Okay, there's that, and there's that. Before I finish up with the curses, I wanted to talk a little bit about the University of Utah and BYU game. We had a cheerleader coach, a woman, who was struck with a full water bottle, or close to full. Anyway, it knocked her out. And they initially, no idea who it was, but people started coming forth. They had their phones, and they had video. Turns out it was an 18-year-old kid, and I guess his father, once he found out, this is my opinion, it appears that the father didn't come forth until they saw that there was going to be some evidence coming, that people filming with their phones, and so the dad finally fessed up. Well, this kid's going to face some serious business. So I hope this is a lesson to all of us to kind of keep our cool. We can talk like this about which team we like and all this kind of stuff, but it gets crazy. And I tell you, that's what turned me off. Last time I went to a University of Utah game was a U of U and BYU, and it was so disgusting, the religious attack, just vulgar language. And I'm not prudish at all. I can handle just about anything, but this was really, really bad, and by Ute fans towards BYU, and they made it more about attacking the religion of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you can say, well, it's only a small percentage and blah, 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 which is probably true, but that small percentage is very, very loud. And there's virtually nothing done to stop it or prevent it. And then when you have the athletic director of the U acting, he didn't do any religious attacks. Okay, so I want to make that clear. But he acted like an idiot. And if he's going to do it, that just kind of gives license for everybody to do kind of crazy things. You know, he's wagging his finger. You've all seen those videos if you have any interest in this at all. Well, it's going to be interesting. University of Utah lost their Rose, the quarterback. I didn't see the injury. It was very interesting how these things happen. But apparently he's out for the season. And so it'll be Zach Wilson's younger brother, who will come back and be the starter again. He's already started quite a few games this season with Cam Rising going out. But one of the best quotes, so Ratliff, is that how you say his name? So he's Jewish. And I loved it. Somebody put it on made a comment. I can't remember who it was, but they made a comment on the last video I did. And I can't remember it exactly, but it was another Hebrew leads a team through a Red Sea. And of course, University of Utah being red, Ratliff being a Jew, he's a Hebrew, and he led them through the Red Sea. It's pretty cool quote. And there's just so many cool things about that. Having a Jewish quarterback is pretty awesome in this day and age, where there's so many things going on in the Middle East, and we're thinking of Judah, we're thinking of the Jews, praying for them, praying for the peace and success against the horrible terrorists that they're up against. Virtually all, surrounded. I know Israel, I know Benjamin Netanyahu, and the people of Israel, for the most part, are thrilled about the election of Donald J. Trump. Of course, he's the one that changed the embassy from Tel Aviv to the old city Jerusalem, and then several countries followed suit in recognizing that. He recognized the Golan Heights. Awesome. Okay, now, one last thing I wanted to talk about here are these curses, right? And I want to cover some scripture, and then cover some TikTok things going on. I don't have TikTok. I haven't been on there, but I try to keep up to date with what's going on. And there's this phenomena going on TikTok of women who are so upset with the election of Donald J. Trump that they're doing all kinds of crazy things. Everything from shaving their heads, okay, just shaving their hair right off. Some are getting hysterectomies in protest. Some are saying that they'll never have sex with a man again, a man that voted for Trump. So they're going to punish men. They're not going to have babies by men who voted for Trump. And this is all positive stuff, right? This is not a bad thing. We should limit those that are producing that have have really mental illness. And if they're going to these extremes. Now, again, you could say, well, there's only a few doing that. There are many. And even if there's just, percentage-wise, a small percentage, it's way too many nut jobs out there doing this kind of thing. So it got me thinking, though, how quite often, if there's a curse of some sort, it's self-inflicted. Now, I wanted to read this. This is out of Alma, chapter 3. Alma chapter 3. And I want to start in verse 13. So Alma chapter 3, verse 13. Now I'm quoting now. Now we will return again to the Amalekites, for they had a mark set upon them. Yea, they set the mark upon themselves. Yea, even a mark of red upon their foreheads. Thus the word of the Lord is fulfilled. For these are the words which he said to Nephi, Behold, the Lamanites have I cursed, and I will set a mark on them, that they and their seed may be separated from thee and thy seed, from this time henceforth and forever, except they repent of their wickedness and turn to me, that I may have mercy upon them. And again I will set a mark upon him that mingleth his seed with thy brethren, that they may be cursed also. Now this is interesting because at first he says, I'm going to curse them. But what happened? The Amalekites did it themselves and fulfilled the curse. So this is what happens. This is what happens to people quite often. And I think this is what's happening now with these deranged women on TikTok. And most of them aren't very attractive, so that's okay. I don't think they're. I better be careful what I say here. But they're cursing their own body. They're cursing their own self. They're making themselves less attractive, so that they can make a point. Well, this is exactly what the Amalekites did. They marked themselves. And in actuality, it was a curse. It was so that they could be identified as somebody that's the bad guy, right? Now, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah and let's read this. This is really good. So this is Isaiah chapter 3. Okay? And we're going to start in verse 16. So Isaiah 3:16. The heading of this is really interesting. It says, Judah and Jerusalem shall be punished for their disobedience. The Lord pleads for and judges his people, the daughters of Zion, cursed and tormented for their worldliness. And this is also in 2 Nephi 13. So usually with the the Isaiah chapters, you just add 10 to it. So if it's chapter 3 in Isaiah, it's chapter 13 in 2 Nephi, okay? So here we go. Verse 16 of chapter 3 in Isaiah. So I'm going to read the Isaiah version of this. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Now, think again. It sounds like the Lord's causing this and cursing them. But as we learn in the Book of Mormon, it's actually brought upon themselves. And this is exactly what's happening with these deranged women on TikTok. Okay. And we know what secret parts are, right? In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cauls and their round tires like the moon. It's all like jewelry and all this stuff. He's going to take it all away. Actually, they're going to take it away, right? Okay, their chains and their bracelets and their mufflers. I don't know what a muffler is, but veils, I think it is. They're veils. The bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the handbags and the tablets and the earrings. Now, when I first read these verses years ago, and subsequently I'd think, oh, yeah, they're all worldly, and God's going to take that away. Well, actually, they're doing it themselves. They're not wearing makeup. Some of them are wearing masks. They're shaving their heads. They're just, they probably were already not that pleasant looking, and now they're even less pleasant looking. So that a real man it's not by chance. It's that he is looking for an attractive woman in many different ways. That doesn't mean you have to be all worldly, but there's an attraction, there's a light. And then that attraction brings this man and a woman together, and then they generate offspring through the desires that they have for each other. And this is the way it's supposed to be. And what these women are doing on TikTok are going totally against that. And they're making themselves less attractive. They're many of them are, well, let's finish reading here. The bonnets and the ornaments of legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles. Let's just wear sweats and a big baggy shirt, shave our head, and don't do any makeup or anything to dress yourself up. Okay? And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. So in other words, you're not going to keep yourself clean and desirable, right? And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. They shaved their head. They did it to themselves. Okay? And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. This fits these. If you watch these gals on TikTok, which I don't really recommend, but you can see it. I recommend, I probably won't pin this, but I'll recommend Mark Dice, D-I-C-E. He has several videos showing these deranged women on TikTok. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground. Being desolate, not having children, that's being desolate. And your men are gone. They're gone. They're with either finding another woman, or they're at war, or they're doing the manly thing. And you don't want that kind of man, right? You don't want that kind of man. So these curses that we read about quite often are self-inflicted, and that the Amalekites, as we read in Alma 3, it fits that perfectly, where the Lord cursed them, but it was them that put the cursing upon themselves. Okay, so I think I've made my point there on that. I hope we continue to look at who's Trump surrounding himself with. I can't even remember all of them, but he is. So back to my original thing, remember how long it took him in 2016, and now he's just like, to get people surrounding him. Things are happening fast. And I've been a little worried about a few of them. 2 or 3 that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that person. But you know what? I've got to continue to be so grateful that we have a man like Donald J. Trump leading this country, putting Merry Christmas back again. Some people say, oh, it was never taken away. That's bullcrap. It was taken away under the Obama administration. Stores, any corporation, it was all season greetings or happy holidays. You could not say Merry Christmas. Now, you might have said it individually, but it was a real thing. And Donald Trump brought that back. He's going to continue to bring that back. It's already coming back. In fact, I think it's Target, which were most left-leaning stores. They had all the trans clothing and all that crap. And now it's Merry Christmas is their message. So this is a good thing. They realized it's kind of like Bud Light. They realized the idiocy of having a trans on there. Transgendered person promoting, and they just lost millions and millions and millions in sales because of that. Which, it's beer, so we go, oh well, it doesn't matter, No, it does matter in the sense that people reject this kind of nonsense. And that's what happened during this election, is they rejected this kind of nonsense. The majority, but there's still a lot out there that embrace it. So we continue to fight the good fight. We study our scriptures. We support Israel. We serve our fellow man. We remain optimistic about the future because Jesus is coming. He is coming. Now, I think this time period is a time period that we're in right now, and I've mentioned this before. This is a time period of revival. This is where we get really square with God, where we get in touch with His Son Jesus Christ as our mediator and our Redeemer and our Savior, and we get to where pretty much every waking moment we're focused on that. And as we do it, and our family does it, and our community does it, and people come unto Christ, we have this opportunity to really become the wheat, separating ourselves from the tares, and we grow up and we're strong, and we are. And when we're thrashed, we're actually part of the grain that survives. And this is where we want to be. We don't want to be on the other side of this. So my hope is that if there are any people that are kind of on the fence or thinking, spirituality, Christ, I'm not positive if it just sounds like too much work and I don't really want to do it. I'm telling you, it is real. Jesus is coming, and the wicked will be destroyed. It is coming. And by destroy, it's going to be major, major, major destruction. The scriptures teach that. They teach that. And there will be a lamenting. And all the things that happened to Judah, the Jews, is in likeness of what's really going to be a big thing, more than any other time period. So I'm hoping that we take this pause in this downward spiral that this country was heading to under previous leadership that we had, that we embrace everything about this and really focus on the basics, and that's man and women, a man and a woman uniting in marriage, building a future together, having children, dedicating their lives to Christ, not getting caught up in all this stuff that has neither root nor branch, and that is everything in the alphabet soup. It's all a dead end. It's all a dead end. It's all a dead end. And if we are vocal about that and headstrong, now let's also be careful of what we eat. Let's be careful of drugs that we take, prescription or not, especially prescription. But we just have to be careful because nefarious people are out there to control us and to make us sick and to make us so that if we're not healthy, we don't feel the Spirit. It's so difficult. Some people have been able to achieve that have had major health issues, and yet they still remain spiritual, but it's very difficult, in my opinion, when you're kind of in survival mode, right? So as we stay strong and healthy and worshipful and humble ourselves before the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and accept Christ into our lives, we're gonna. This is going to be a glorious time to live, a glorious time to live. So with that, I will bid you farewell for a couple of days. We'll talk more about things as they unfold with the election and with other things. But I do want to talk later about the YouTube Latter-day Saint culture of what's going on in this YouTube world. Is pretty fascinating. I'll talk about that probably next time or maybe the time after that. I have a couple of other ideas of things I want to, but just remember, many, 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 if not most curses are brought upon by ourselves. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.